After we learned about its existence, we conducted an in-depth investigation. Insiders who revealed information are at every level of the Chinese Communist Party. Based on insider information and our investigation, Sujiatun death camp began operations in 2001, and the organ trade business reached a peak in 2002. The death camp is located underground, adjacent to a hospital in Sujiatun, Shenyang City. From the outside, it looks like a normal hospital. You cannot see anything above ground, but there is a huge underground facility. Let's put it this way. It is a concentration camp reminiscent of Nazi concentration camps. Strictly and realistically speaking, it is a death camp, a butcher shop. We still have to look further into the staffing, but we have evidence that a significant part of the staff are medical doctors. Some of the medical doctors suffered mental breakdowns because of what they did there. Some suffered mental collapse, some attempted suicide, and some have fled from the camp. Some of them have resorted to prostitutes to help relieve the psychological pressure. We have received information that they abducted Falun Gong practitioners to the camp who had steadfast faith in Falun Gong, namely those who refused to give up Falun Gong after receiving long-term torture. They brought these determined Falun Gong practitioners there and systematically butchered them to harvest their organs for profit. Under normal circumstances, a patient who needs an organ has to find an organ donor who has a compatible blood type, so the organ won't be rejected when transplanted. The waiting time for an organ is generally very long. In China, there are death row prisoners, but they have to wait until a person is given a death sentence. So the organ transplant depends on the execution time. But in Sujiatun, they claim to be able to supply an organ within 24 hours, 48 hours, or immediately. Imagine why they are able to provide human organs so quickly. In addition, a kidney transplant requires moving the kidney from a living human being. A kidney freshly removed from a human body and still radiating heat will increase the chance of survival of the patient receiving the kidney. It's most shocking that they guarantee to provide kidneys in a few hours if you need one. Imagine, how could they possibly do that without a large stock of living human beings?
On March 16th, the day after the World Organization to investigate persecution of Falun Gong published its first investigation, another witness that used to work in Sujiatun came forward. One of the family members was a surgeon doing organ harvesting on Falun Gong practitioners imprisoned in Sujiatun. This woman hopes that details of the concentration camp will be exposed worldwide and quickly, so the Falun Gong practitioners that may still be alive can be rescued. By stepping forward, she also hopes that she can partly atone for the crimes of her family.
They used to detain about 6,000 people. After the number of detained people became less, they demolished the facility. It was demolished a long time ago. Later, we began to wonder if there was an underground facility. No one knew where the underground facility was. I didn't know where they were detained. But we know that the room can easily accommodate 100 people, not to mention our hospital. Our hospital is huge. It is impossible that they would detain 4 to 5 people here and 4 to 5 people there. It wouldn't be worthwhile.
Did he know if he was removing organs from living people?
They were breathing. They were not dead yet. As I have said before, no one knew Falun Gong practitioners were detained here. Only one farmer came here once. He asked if his family was detained here. Except for this man, no one knew Falun Gong practitioners were detained here. When they abducted Falun Gong practitioners, they didn't go through any legal processes or have any legal documentation, such as a detention record. They told him that they released his family and that they had no idea where they had gone.
After Mr. R revealed the existence of the Sujiatun concentration camp, reporters from New Tang Dynasty Television called relevant departments of Shenyang city government to verify the information.
Hello. Are you Chairman Bian?
Hello? Who's asking?
Sujatun death camp detained Falun Gong practitioners, tortured them, and harvested their organs for profit. Did you know about this? Hello.
In fact, since the Epoch Times newspaper published the news about Sujatun, the Chinese Communist regime has been completely silent on the matter. More in-depth investigations of the Sujatun concentration camp are taking place as we speak. With the news of the camp, another well-known scandal worldwide has come to light: illegal organ sales and crimes against humanity in China. China has the largest number of death row prisoners in the world, and it is also the largest market for illegal organ sales. After the Sujatun concentration camp was revealed, a reporter from NTD TV made a phone call as a family member of a patient to the Shenyang College of Medicine asking about kidney transplants in China.
Is it possible for us to meet with the donor's family before the transplant?
It is impossible. Impossible. In China, kidneys come from dead people. How can you meet with dead people?
But in China, there are not really that many dead prisoners.
How did you know there were not many?
Dr. Wang Guoqi is a doctor from the burn treatment department of the Tianjin Armed Police General Hospital. On June 27, 2001, he testified in person at a congressional hearing held by the International Relations and Human Rights Committee. In his testimony, Dr. Wang told the Congress that he was ordered by the hospital to remove skin and cornea from executed prisoners more than 100 times. Dr. Thomas Difflow, a kidney doctor in the United States, also testified at the hearing.
I had encountered some Chinese patients who had gone to China and came back with kidneys. And when I asked them where they came from, they said, oh, it was my cousin or something like that. But then some of them told me that they had bought the kidneys from executed prisoners. Although the government said that this was something they had gotten consent for, that the prisoners had agreed to beforehand, or the families had consented, the evidence was overwhelming that there wasn't any consent involved. And in fact, it was just the government doing what they wanted. This appears to be a big conspiracy involving the government, the hospitals, the military, and of course the transplant doctors.
Shortly after July 20, 1999, when former head of China's communist regime Jiang Zemin announced the crackdown on Falun Gong, he also ordered a Gestapo-like agency called the 610 Office to systematically persecute Falun Gong practitioners. His policies toward Falun Gong were unambiguous: defame their reputation, bankrupt them financially, destroy them physically. He also says, quote, death of Falun Gong practitioners from beating means nothing and shall be counted as suicide. And the body should be cremated immediately without investigating the person's identity.
The Chinese Communist Party has been trying hard to create an illusion of prosperity and social stability in China. However, the explosive news of Sujatun concentration camp, where Falun Gong practitioners are killed on demand for organ harvesting just before their bodies are thrown into an on-site crematorium, illustrates that the Chinese Communist regime is willing to do anything for money and is using any means to destroy the evidence of its crimes of genocide.
Because of the escalating global trend of withdrawing from the Chinese Communist Party, and because of the large number of people having done so, the Chinese Communist Party has lost confidence in itself. Under the circumstances, it knows that it is doomed and will disintegrate. Everything it is doing is an attempt to postpone its disintegration. There are two reasons why it is trying to delay its foreseeable disintegration. First, the Chinese Communist Party leaders are trying to steal as much money as possible and to make arrangements to flee overseas. A lot of high-level communist cadres have purchased houses in South America. In fact, they are preparing their retreat. Second, they are trying to eliminate as much evidence of their crimes as possible before the collapse. Their crimes are most macabre and appalling. Before their crimes are completely exposed, they are attempting to eliminate as much evidence as possible. That's why we see that they are now attempting genocide to destroy the evidence of their crimes. According to a witness, some of the surgeons removing organs from living Falun Gong practitioners imprisoned in Sujatun have already been murdered, as they are witnesses to the crimes and as such must be eliminated.
This is a statement made by the World Organization to investigate the persecution of Falun Gong. We urge everyone with insider information about Su Jia-tun death camp to come forward and provide a list of all the organizations and individuals involved in the genocide of Falun Gong practitioners imprisoned in Su Jia-tun death camp. We promise to help those who provide important pieces of evidence to escape from China and obtain political asylum. We also urge the families of Falun Gong practitioners who have been abducted and gone missing to demand the Chinese Communist authorities for their immediate release.
All that you have seen today are only our initial findings. If you know anything more about Su Jia-tun or any details about China's organ harvesting programs, we encourage you to send us an email to feedback@ntdtv.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Kian Wong for Zooming In, and we'll see you next time.